In this short video, I will show how to move files into Cloud Object Store instance. I already have one Cloud Object Store connection. And so what needs to be done is to create the second Cloud Object Store connection and then create a data stage flow to move files from one COS instance to another COS instance. Let's get started. First, let's create a connection. Let's find object storage. Select. Okay, I'm going to find my COS connection credential and stick it here. And I will call it as DS demo COS2. Okay, and let me find the endpoint URL and put it here. Okay, let's test connection. Test connection is successful. So now let's create COS connection. Now I have the DS demo COS2, which point to the second Cloud Object Store instance. So now let's create a data stage flow. Okay, I will give the data flow name as move files between two COS instance. Great. Okay, now let's use asset browser to find the first COS instance. I'm going to use this file. Let's preview it to get a good idea of what it is. Okay, so the file reading is successful, and the selected asset has been added here. So let's dismiss this window. Let's add. Then let's use asset browser to find the target. For the target, I'm going to use this connection and use this bucket. Okay, I will write it here. Use this bucket. So now let's connect the source to target. Let's review the source. The source basically read from this connection. It is a single file. Read from this bucket. Here's the file name. Let's preview this file. It retrieved 1,000 records, and it thinks that it has 75 columns. This is the PID. This is the same ID, GS ID, and many other columns, 75 columns. So, so the file parsing is working. So now let's look into the output columns. Let's look at the column set. So there are a few things from a previous work. I know that PID is not really integer. It needs to be treated as a varchar. So let's fix that. I will set it as a varchar 100. And similarly, same ID cannot be treated as integer. Let's change it to varchar 100. GIS column has this one didn't change correctly, so let me change it. Varchar. What happened? That's weird. Okay, so PID Let me focus on it. Varchar 100, GIS, change it to varchar 100. So that's good. So another thing that I know of is zip code is not integer from password. So let me filter it. Zip code, mail zip code, this should be treated as varchar 100 as well. So then let's, there are three columns treated as bit. Bit is too precise. It basically means it has to be 0, 1. But from previous work, I know that sometimes those columns can contain 2, 3, and so on. So rather than treat it as bit, let's change it to integer. Let's also change this to integer. Let's also change this to integer. Let's remove this filtering condition. So other than that, everything else looks good for now. 75 columns will have hopefully the right format. So let's save it. Now let's look into the target. Target, so it basically says write to ds.com, ds demo COS. The write mode is write. Bucket is this bucket. I did not specify file name. So let's say housepress.csv. And first line is header. Let's set this attribute. Input column has been propagated properly for me. So let's save it. Let's run this job. Because this is a freshly created data flow, so I need to compile it. Compile basically means we are taking this data flow and we generate executable code. So let's say what executable code it will generate. This executable code is what we call as OSH. So basically what we are doing is to take this generated code and send to the actual backend cluster, and backend cluster is going to take this and run the generated code, and which process input record and send to the target. So it already generated some record, and it has started reading, which is good. Okay, job has run successfully. So let's say if we can preview the output or not. Let's switch to property. Let's do preview. Preview will, in this case, read the data from the second Cloud Object Store instance and present the data. And this data is correct. If you carefully compare this output with the source data preview, you will find they are identical. So that proves that we have successfully moved this file from source to target. Let me close this. Thank you very much for watching.